McMahon, and he is our musical guest on the show today. Also in the lineup, a Metaphysical event at Unity Spiritual Center in Nanaimo. Also a hospital foundation calendar put together by registered nurses at the emergency department right here in Nanaimo. PacificCARE has reason to celebrate, and for seniors, it's a matter of balance. Also here in the next hour, we'll have a winter fashion show from Catwalk Fashions, and we will be bringing you updates on the controversial issue of supportive housing or low barrier housing in Nanaimo. We'll have two sides to that issue in the next hour. I'm Kate Bergen. This is The Show. We are live. It's Thursday, October 27th. Gloria Yates is going to be participating in the Metaphysical Fair coming up in Nanaimo at Unity Spiritual Center on November the 5th. Now, she is a psychic, a spiritual healer, a clairvoyant, and she's been spending a lot of her time in selfless service at an ashram in India. Thank you, Calamity, for being here today. When I think ashram, selfless service, Eat, Pray, Love, Julia Roberts, is there any truth to your experience in that movie?
Well, the spiritual journey, of course, and we thought we'd have people flocking to the ashram after that book came out and the movie came out. I read it on the way there, actually.
So you volunteer to go and do what exactly? And this is all leading up to what people can expect at the fair coming up.
I do my psychic healing work there as my selfless service. The money that visitors and residents pay me for my service goes to the ashram charities. We have a lot of charities there. And at this ashram we have a living master. It's like if we had Jesus in a woman's body at this time of the world. We're very lucky to have a living master.
And you described to me on the phone that you've been spending a lot of time at her feet.
Yes.
And that's probably sort of literal as well as symbolic.
Both. Yeah, living in the ashram where she resides, and when we have darshan, we're kneeling at her feet. So,
what is it about this way of life, before we move on to the fair, that has all encompassed you?
Well, my whole life purpose has been spiritual growth and development and learning and growing so I can be more of service to other people. So, and I always honored the goddess. So when I found a living master, a divine incarnation in a woman's body, even better, I just had to go. I had to meet her, and I fell in love with her. I fell in love with the lifestyle. It's warm. It's right at the equator, just north of the equator, on the Arabian Sea. And I went there. I never ever wanted to go to India. Crowds, poverty, you know, heat. Yeah. And I love it there. I love it there. I bought a flat there my very first time there.
No, you are participating in a metaphysical fair that's coming up. It's put on by Unity Spiritual Center.
Yes.
Now, it used to be called Unity Church, and I know you're not involved on a day-to-day basis. What's your experience going there? Because I've been there once or twice for different events, and I thought, this is a church? So it is a pretty unique place.
Yes,
let's maybe shed some light on what that place is.
It's about spiritual awareness, and it has no dogma. It's embracing the truths of all religions, rather than, you know, saying this is our way, is the only way. It's really open to all kinds of people, all beliefs. It's just universal spiritual truths of all religions, the universal truths of all faiths they embrace.
That's a great place. Yeah. They're having a fair coming up. You are a part of that. It's on November the 5th. The title, Metaphysical Fair. Airy-fairy maybe for some people?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, practitioners of all sorts of modalities will be there. Reiki, tarot, you know, shiatsu, reflexology, different body works, and just anybody that has something to offer under that umbrella is invited to come and participate. And half the money we receive goes to the fair, or to the Unity, and half comes to us. So we don't get rich that way.
We've just got about a minute left. If I walk into this fair, I come up to your booth, what next?
Well, you buy tickets at the door, And
Because I'm more getting at what will you and I, what will our interaction look like?
I would say, what would you like? I can do a psychic healing reading on you, or I can do access consciousness, the bars, which is holding points on the head to remove beliefs, judgments, opinions, ideas, things like that. So you have a choice, and then either way, I would either put you on a massage table and hold these points on your head, or I'd go into trance and start looking at your field, your chakras, whatever. Just you as spirit light up whatever needs to be identified, and we just move it out.
Is that draining for you?
No, because I channel universal divine love light, and so I get actually energized, and it keeps me young. And I love it, yeah.
November the 5th, we're wrapping up from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m.
Yes.
Unity Spiritual Center here in Nanaimo. Thank you for your time coming in today. It sounds like a wonderful experience. I think I could use some calming and just a little bit of chill time, and a massage sounds absolutely wonderful. We will be back with more, but right now we are going to take a short break. We'll be back with Tara Keeping and a look into 2012 with registered nurses from Nanaimo's emergency department and a calendar that they have put together.
Hi, I'm Rob O's.
And I'm Andrew McLean, and we're O's and McLean at Royal LePage.
We invite you to watch O's and McLean's Two Men and Their Fishing Rods.
Only on Shaw TV.
Another lost lake.
Just waiting to be discovered.
But most importantly, fished.
O's and McLean's Two Men and Their Fishing Rods on Shaw TV, Channel 4.
The Warhamps to me is a big family. It's people who I can relate to, who have amputations like me. It's inspiring just to see what all these other amputees have accomplished.
I'm glad to know that there's more kids like me.
It's boosted my self-confidence. It's allowed me to reach goals that I never thought possible.
My prosthetic limbs the Warhamps gave me helped me so much. I can do running, snowboarding.
Play guitar, ride my bike, skip rope, play soccer. I can run really fast. Sometimes I play football in the backyard.
I play hockey, baseball.
I wakeboard.
I really like my legs because they help me do all kinds of stuff.
Your amputation doesn't hold you back. You can do whatever you want.
I can do what you can do. And that's what the Warhamps does for people.
And now, back to the show, only on Shaw TV.
Studio here is Jenny Bricks and Lauren McNeil, registered nurses here at the Nanaimo Hospital on the emergency department, and they are the masterminds behind this calendar. This is the newest fundraiser with the Nanaimo Hospital Foundation. So tell us a little bit more about the calendar. Why a calendar for a fundraiser?
Well,
Jenny.
The photographers, Mia and Alberto Dominguez from Artez Photography, they came in with their family into the emergency department one day, and they wanted to give back to the emergency department, so they donated their time and efforts to do a project with us, and Lauren and I and our manager and one of the doctors came up with the idea of a calendar.
And in the calendar, it's all staff members, like doctors, nurses, living in Nanaimo, so it's a community calendar with them just living life in Nanaimo. Is that correct?
We wanted to kind of highlight beautiful places around the city, as well as our staff members doing things that they really love to do.
Nice. And so how can we get where can we buy the calendars? When are they available, and how much?
They are available as of right now. They're $15 each. You can get them in Quality Foods around Central Nanaimo and Parksville, Qualicum area. And you can also get them on the Hospital Foundation website.
And I guess at the hospital too.
Hospital gift shop as well, yeah.
Oh, perfect. And so with this money, you're hoping to raise how much money on the calendars?
$20,000. Okay. And through the Hospital Foundation. Yeah.
Okay. And this money is going to go towards
the new emergency department that should be opening up in summer of 2012.
Okay.
So we have a big expansion going on. So the money raised from these calendars will help to buy some new equipment for the new emergency department.
Oh, nice. So and you guys are in that department. So all this money that's raised, hopefully $20,000, will all go to the emergency equipment for the new emergency ward, which you said is going to be what, summer 2012?
2012.
Oh,
hopefully sooner, but
how exciting! New office for you.
Yeah.
And what I liked is the story behind there is that two photographers. Is it Ars Tech Photography? Ars Tech. Okay.
They're a couple actually. They're awesome. They're
and
amazing.
so they had a story, because it all comes down with stories. They had a story, and they experienced at the emergency ward, and they felt that they wanted to give back, and I like that. So it was something that to give back. And with a fundraiser like this, you never know when you're going to use the emergency ward or the hospital. So it's a really good fundraiser to be a part of. Christmas is around the corner. You can put it in the stocking stuffers. And so let's go back to a little bit more about the fundraiser. How long has it taken you to come up with this?
Started in May.
In May?
We had a meeting with me and Alberto, came up with a concept which we discussed and planned to get volunteers as well as locations, and kind of did it along with the weather through the summer.
So were you part of the whole the photography process of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Wow.
we meet them and go and take photos. We try to gather as many staff members, nurses, doctors, and from the department that we work with on a daily basis, and get them doing their hobbies outside of work. So people are kayaking, we have mountain bikers,
healthy lifestyle.
one of the doctors with his plane. Yeah.
As we know that people in the health field do, right? All healthy. Well, that's good. And you know, you guys are nurses, and I know my sister's a registered nurse, so I can just imagine with your 12-hour shifts and everything, and to be part of this. Well done. Thank you. So, folks out there, if you do want to have the newest fundraiser of the Nanaimo Hospital Foundation calendars, they are available They're available now at the Hospital Foundation and at Quality Foods.
Definitely.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being here.
So much.
And we are done. Thank you.
All right.
They didn't tell me who I was throwing to.
All right. Now, the gentleman right beside me here, Mr. Terry David Mulligan himself. Terry David Mulligan.
There's no wine in the green room. So
There's no wine in the green rooms. Yeah, exactly. He has called this gentleman the Complete Package, which is a great wrestler name, but for good reason if you look at his music experience. Again, performer, recording engineer, artist, all sorts of different genres, pop, rock, country, folk. Ladies and gentlemen, one of Vancouver Island's finest, Mr. Ryan McMahon. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Now, unfortunately, we have this gentleman here in a bit of a bad mood today. What's going on with that?
Well, I was in such a rush to get to Shaw Television that
you got a set list.
I got a speeding ticket. The set list is on the back, but I got a speeding ticket on Bowen Road. So
the worst part is I took a look. It's actually not a speeding ticket. It's actually a seatbelt ticket. So keep your seatbelt on. You'll never be strapped for cash. Anyway, so this guy right here, he's not from the Nanaimo. He's from, they're loving the joke over there. He's from Ladysmith, is this correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, I believe back in the day, basically musicians in the family weren't one of those preferred career choices. Talk about how you started your career as a musician.
My dad was a longshoreman. His dad's dad was a longshoreman. I'm a musician with feelings and sensitive, and it was a bit of a head scratcher at first, but they're cool with it now.
Nice, right on. Yeah. So you started out on the island playing in a band called Citizen Strange.
You remember?
Absolutely. Saw the band a couple times.
Yeah.
Good rock and roll. Yeah, exactly. And then you went off to Vancouver. What was the story there for your move to Vancouver? Just more opportunities?
More opportunities. Some of my high school friends had moved over there. Mike Rogerson and Dustin Young. I played with them for better part of a decade, and after a while, like Vancouver got to be, I had to come home.
Exactly.
It got to be crazy, and I missed the island a lot, so I moved home 3 years ago.
Exactly. So now you're back in town. You've got a new band called Ryan McMahon and the Company Dam, named after the Ladysmith water supply.
It's true. Yep. And it rhymes with McMahon too.
Exactly. So there you go. So there is the disc there. Mr. Ryan McMahon also got some gigs coming up. That's the last thing to tell us about, and then we're going to hear a song. Where are you playing next?
November 25th is the CD release party for Put the Past in a Flask and Drink It at the Duncan Garage Showroom.
Great name.
And there's also Christmas gigs in December, both with Chris Arruda, who's amazing. One's in Ladysmith. Where am I from?
Ladysmith, absolutely.
At the Beantime Cafe, a really small place, and the other place is at Diners Rendezvous.
Perfect. All right, so you're heading out to those shows. Check out your website, which is?
RyanMcMahon.com.
And you're going to hear this music, see these shows, get this disc. Ryan McMahon, over to you on the show.
keep me running away. I'm standing on a speaker box, having my say, drinking till the bottom is clear, then I do it again. Send me a message to remember it all. It gets a little foggy when the autumn comes out. Fill my bowl with nobody sober mine. And I'll be down back to the well for some common sense. I'll be damned again. So come back, stupid, 'cause they colored your dome. You crashed a man's party, sat around and said, wander it and squandered all your shots until you go blind. Hey, send me a message, point form complaints. The little lady left you now because she is late. You're no daddy, so she goes slow this time. And I'll be down back to the well for some common sense. I'll be damned again. I'll be down back to the well for some common sense. I'll be damned again.
And very nice, Ryan McMahon. Thank you so much. We'll have more from you later on. And of course, if you are liking what you hear, check out his website, buy a CD. Hopefully it's on CD Baby, because more of the percentage goes to Ryan and less goes to iTunes, or so I hear. Welcome back to the show on Shaw TV Channel 4 here in Nanaimo. Supportive housing has become a big issue in Nanaimo on Uplands Drive in Nanaimo. It's often referred to as low barrier housing or wet housing. You've probably seen flyers like this in full-page local newspapers or online. And today we're speaking with John Horn, who is the social planner with the City of Nanaimo, and Merv Unger, who is just finishing up his term on City Council, and he is not seeking re-election. I'd like to preface this interview by clearly stating our objectives. Ideally, after our next 2 interviews, we will have people who are following this issue less inflamed and more informed. After this conversation, I did mention 2 interviews. After this conversation, we'll take a short break and we'll come back with 2 people who are against the proposed supportive housing site on Uplands Drive for various reasons. But John, let's start with you first of all. What is supportive housing?
Sure. Supported housing is housing for the homeless, or those people who are at risk of becoming homeless or have been homeless. So the reason it's called supported housing is because it comes with staff on site. For this particular initiative, there'll be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, staff on site in the facility. They're there to support the tenants. It's called low barrier housing because we only ask 3 things of the prospective tenants. 1 is to be committed to making changes in their lives. 2 is that they want housing. And 3 is that they agree to behave with civility and respect within the building and within the neighborhood. Those are the 3 things we ask. If they meet those 3 conditions, they're eligible to be a tenant in this building.
Now, is the support and the on-site management contracted out by the city?
Well, the city does not fund this component. BC Housing does. They contract with a local nonprofit society. That society hires the staff and runs the building. Okay. So it's a contracted service that BC Housing enters into with a nonprofit agency.
Now, it might be a better question for Merv, I'm not sure. What stage is it at now? How far along in the process of this coming to actuality are we?
Well, we've had expressions of interest. We got responses from 7 organizations that do want to become involved in running the facility.
But the facility is going up?
Yes.
No, it's done deal?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an agreement we have with BC Housing. I think if we go back in the history a little bit, we can explain how we got to this point. About 7 or 8 years ago, Premier Gordon Campbell set up a homeless task force, which was composed of mayors from various communities. Nanaimo's mayor at the time was Gary Corpin. He served on that homeless task force province-wide. From that came the ideas of the homeless strategy for the entire province.
And you sat on the local working group for that since 2007.
And Nanaimo then formed a working group in 2007 to look after all these concerns and how we could get there. And part of that working group was coming up with the homeless strategy.
Okay. I think one of the concerns that's come up is a lack of transparency. We are chatting later on with the concerned citizens of Nanaimo, and one of the biggest complaints I've heard from them is that there was no public consultation process, and this is not something, frankly, whether they want it in the neighborhood or not is one thing, but the fact that they weren't asked about it is another.
That is the way it was set up in the beginning. When the provincial government created the housing strategy, all they asked of the city and all the city had to do was come up with pieces of property that were already zoned. And once it's already zoned, there's no public hearings required. Okay. And that the city then pay all servicing costs and development cost charges. That's all the city's role is. Thereafter, it goes to BC Housing and will include people like the Vancouver Island Health Authority, Canadian Mental Health, and people like that who are providing the services. But the city's role was to give a piece of land, and in Nanaimo it happened to be 5 pieces that were identified.
Was there concern that this piece of land was next to a senior center, and I am going to move and bring John back into the conversation, that this was next to a senior center and an elementary school and high schools? Was that
considered? The same thing in Victoria, and it's working.
Okay. Which is actually a good lead into a similar thing in Victoria. It's a societal problem. It's not something that's unique to Nanaimo. I can't imagine being in anybody's shoes trying to weigh the pros and cons. I don't think I'd want it in my own backyard. But how do you can't just, start up a colony and ship out parts of our community who need help.
Certainly there's a wide consensus in the community that we do have a problem, and most of us would agree. There's no question about that. Secondly, that everyone's pretty knowledgeable about this issue, says it's not the easiest thing to solve in the world either, because if it was easy, we wouldn't have cities right across North America that have a homeless problem. So it's complex, it's difficult, and it does arouse a great deal of emotions in folks when the topic comes up. So it's not an easy one to crack, but the strategy that we're pursuing is one that's being pursued by other cities across North America, and it's proven to be the most effective approach. You have to have a whole bunch of pieces in place. This is one piece of a really broad spectrum of actions you have to take to really solve the homeless problem.
What would we've got about 4 or 5 minutes left. What would some of those other, and maybe that's leading into, there's been questions about support. So if we have people who are actively using drugs, and I already know we're not going to be able to cover everything I want to cover, is there extra policing in the area? Is someone going to be at the neighborhood school picking needles up from underneath the slides? I mean, is that something we need to be concerned about?
That's the whole thing about this program. When you have people outside on the streets using, they'll be dropping needles and everything on the street. Right. When you're in your own home, in your own bedroom or your own kitchen, that's where things go on. However, there's a great misunderstanding. That is something that is allowed when you're in your own home, and that applies to you and me and everybody else. And that's what they are. But there are many people who use this type of housing who are not drug users, and that's where the fear has come in, the misunderstanding, oh, they're going to drive around with trucks, pick them up on the streets and dump them all. They have to apply to get in there, they have to qualify to get in there. They work with the Vancouver Island Hospital Authority or Health Authority. The ACT team, the community nursing team, is the one who assesses who the people are who will be allowed to be in there. And on top of that, if they do not live up to their requirements, they can be removed. So the service that will be there is nurses and 24-hour-a-day staffing is one, but they also have to qualify, and if they do not live up to their end of the bargain, they are removed.
It seems like at the core of the issue might be that it is scary. I'm a mom of young kids. I can understand. I have colleagues and friends who have expressed concern, but there's no way to reassure.
I guess I'll give an example, if I may. We have an emergency shelter in Nanaimo, which is open for the winter months. It's run by the Unitarian Church.
Is that downtown?
That's on Townside Avenue.
Okay.
And what it does is it provides shelter in the winter for people who are homeless. And that shelter is directly across the street from Brecken Elementary School. They have not experienced a single issue in respect of the children at that school and the homeless population who attend the shelter, despite the fact that they're separated by a mere 50 feet.
Right.
So it's really, this group is
Is it a fear of unknown?
I think it is.
Exactly
Absolutely. And that's a fair,
Everybody gets
fair
to back
thing.
up if they're walking past someone who's unstable.
Well, there was a story in the paper today, I think was very timely. The Balmoral Hotel, that used to be an area of real concern with street
I've walked
problems.
by there and I'm scared, to be honest. It's not comfortable.
In today's paper, the neighbors are all saying, boy, what has happened to our neighborhood? It's been cleaned up. It's nicer now because people get off the street. That's where the problem lies. When they're homeless, they are a problem. When they're in housing, they're not. However, some of this is there are seniors or people 50 and over who are homeless, who are not drug abusers or have mental issues. They're just poor.
The statistics, I think, that I've seen on both sides is that there's a very high percentage of homeless people that do have drug issues. And I don't want to debate the yes or no or the facts of that. Is this an issue of not in my backyard? No, I'm getting the final word, each of you.
It could be, but it is in my backyard. I live there.
Would you want it to come into your neighborhood?
Yes, yes, I would. Yeah, because we have to solve this problem. The lesson from other cities is if you don't tackle this problem, you'll get a bigger and worse problem, and it won't be solvable. Okay. So we have to solve the problem while it's small enough to solve. Cities that don't take these kinds of steps live to regret that.
Thank you, gentlemen. We all have to pitch in. And I do appreciate you pitching in your time and your energies to be with us here today. We're out of time. I always wish we had more time. For more information on supportive housing, you can visit the City of Nanaimo's website. They have a lot of history posted there, as well as questions and answers. And when we come back, two people who disagree with what the city is doing in regards to supportive housing and how they're going about doing it.
Hi, I'm Al Decoto from Terminals Quality Assured Collision Services, inviting you to watch Terminals Quality Assured Collision Service Arts Now.
With music, theater, and entertainment in your community. From local bands and actors on stage to the talented work of artists in the Mid-Island area. Know what's happening when and where so you won't miss a thing. Terminal Quality Assured Collision Arts Now, only on Shaw TV.
Crime happens, but where it happens and who becomes the victim can be influenced by you and your community. As the eyes and ears of their neighborhoods, Block Watch programs assist police by reporting suspicious activity.
I'm witnessing a theft from a vehicle.
To learn more about crime prevention in your neighborhood, contact your local police department or the Block Watch Society of BC.
You don't need a media monkey. Think for yourself. A message from Concerned Children's Advertisers.
Welcome back to the show. What show? The Show. Only on Shaw TV. The Show. Only on Shaw TV.
Welcome back. Just enough time for a quick guest change in our set here in our studios at 4316 Boban Drive in Nanaimo. Supportive housing is a very hot and emotional issue in Nanaimo these days. In our studio now we have Carol Ori, and she is a member of the Concerned Citizens of Nanaimo, and Fred Cardell, who is not associated with CCN but has his own independent concerns about the process of establishing low barrier housing on Uplands Drive in Nanaimo. Carol, we're going to start with you. What is Concerned Citizens of Nanaimo? Who are you?
Concerned citizens of Nanaimo are over 2,000 residents in the area who are very concerned about this upland site that has been proposed to go through. It is seniors, it is small businesses, parents and families who are really concerned about what the city is trying to bulldoze through on this site.
Now, I know when we invited you onto the program here, you wanted to bring a whole bunch more people, so we want to make it, you want to make it clear that it's not, you're a stay-at-home mom, you don't, it's more than that. There's a real realm of people who are involved.
It definitely is. I mean, we have a huge community who cares about the homeless, but who are very, very concerned about what the city is literally bulldozing through.
Okay.
And with no respect to the community involved, and quite frankly, the homeless people. When you truly do your research and you look into all the stats and all the research that we have found, putting a site of 40 individuals who are homeless from the Nanaimo homeless plan, 96% are actively drug users, and they're homeless apparently. So if you're going to house 40 people in a unit like this, you're asking for trouble. It is socially irresponsible of the city, and it's going to be a horrific domino effect.
I'm going to bring Fred in now. Fred, you're here independent. You have some of your own concerns in regards to how this has been put forward. You don't think the city has been transparent in their process at all.
That's correct. I'd like to say, though, that I'm a supporter of ending homelessness, and I'm encouraged by the excellent initiatives the city is taking. However, I'm also a supporter of an open and transparent government and community participation, and that's what I found really lacking in this situation.
Do you think that, looking at the bylaws, and I looked over them closely before coming in, do you think that, I mean, it's hard. There's so many bylaws, and the inner workings of a city council is a hard thing to get your head around. So having it come out of nowhere might not be a matter of hiding, but might be a matter of, I've never had to be aware of this before.
Well, I think council has a responsibility to the citizens. There are open meeting laws in BC, and any major decisions like this need to be made at open meetings. That didn't happen. The history on this is in 2008, the city and the province signed an agreement that identified 5 locations for supportive housing. Uplands was not one of them. In 2010, there was an in-camera meeting and a staff report that provided a so-called rationale for the Upland site, which was very weak in my view, and that was kept from the public. And then the first the public became aware of it was this September, when it was announced in the paper, and it was a done deal as far as people knew.
I'm not going to get into, I don't have all that tracking. Sorry, I'm going to let you finish. I'm going to bring Carol back in. You're good?
I'm good.
Okay. Carol, what is it? I just heard from Merv and John that it's a done deal. You guys are still fighting your good fight. What are you hoping to achieve in this group? Maybe I'm wrong, but they made it pretty clear.
Well, it's shocking to hear that a council member and a city member are saying it's a done deal when the community is outraged that they're going to put a site like this around seniors village, many seniors, children's elementary schools, and across the street from a high school. This has not been thought out and planned. They have pushed through and drove through so that they can get their $36 million from the government, and then they can just walk away. And it's going to be, like I said, a horrific domino effect, because they are willing to house these addicts. They are actively using addicts.
I'm going to keep bringing it back to I don't want to get into a they and what they say, because I can't
but this is who
say
will
yes
be,
or
this
no
is who will be in the building.
So
the homeless in Nanaimo are 96% are actively drug users. So that's who's going to be in this housing.
Where do you think the fear is? I want to get down to, I'm a mom too. I have little kids. And so if this is coming in, say, to my neighborhood, I don't know how I would respond. Would I say that I don't want this in my backyard? Please take it somewhere else, and then it becomes somebody else's problem? I mean, what is the fear on a day-to-day basis? What does this look like in your life if this building goes up in your area?
The fear is the facts that all the facts and research we're doing is what people are being, saying that we're being accused of being fear tactics and everything. The only thing we have done is we have done our research. All our research is from the City of Nanaimo and from BC Housing. That's where we pulled our stats from and all our research. So the fact that they're saying that there's fear here, perhaps there's denial on their part.
Okay, that's fair, and it could be both sides could be saying the same thing. I am going to bring one of the pictures, and I'm just trying to get through because I know time is going. Here's a flyer, what's wrong with this picture, and there's a family with some kids and a parent. They look very healthy, and there's other ones like this that take it to Nanaimo, and then there's a crackhead smoking on the sidewalk. This is photoshopped.
Yes.
Is that to instill fear?
No, it's actually what that's about is on September the 15th, we were sprung, our community, that this was going in.
It was shocking.
And it was very shocking.
Yeah.
And so we had little time to react and respond. And this was the best way. We needed people to say, no, what is going on and what is potentially going to happen in their community. So to turn the blind eye and say, this is not going to happen.
Do you know, I think nobody can predict the future. Nobody can say that there won't be any problems, and nobody can say that this is going to cause problems. We can all hold what we think and anticipate is going to happen. So what is the solution? How do people come together?
If I could say something, I'm pretty sure that we can predict the future if this site goes in. Okay, I worked in a program in Vancouver down on the east side, and when you're dealing with people who are on crystal meth, crack, heroin, cocaine, there is going to be a horrific effect to the community and people involved. And so it's not a fear factor, it's actually, it is facts and it is statistics and it will happen.
Okay. I'm going to bring Fred back in. We've got about 3 minutes left, and I want to make sure that we get the points out that we want to say. I'm going to ask you after Carol, but first, Fred, you're more concerned with the process. The result, you're not quite at the results yet. You're in the middle of the ongoing information and how it's being delivered.
Right. And
what do you want to see happen?
Well, one thing I wanted to add is just a question: why here? I mean, there are a lot of sites. If the city had done an open process, they would have got some community discussion on it. I'm sure they could have found a better site. This is the largest seniors complex on the island, and why put it there? And I think the reason is that it was expedient. It was land owned by the city. There was no rezoning. In fact, that was part of their rationale. It was easy and convenient, and that's not a reason to put it there. So I think from my point of view,
disagree with you, but
from my point of view, I think you put this project on hold. You go back to the community. You go back to council. You revisit it. You undertake a proper process. You make it right.
Are you hopeful that will happen?
I think so. I think politicians have been coming out. Ron Cantlon has come out to one of our meetings. I think he's supportive. He's suggested there are other sites that are more appropriate. He's talking to Rich Coleman, so I think there's possibilities. Now, again, I think the homeless problem has to be resolved, but it has to be resolved the right way. Okay. And that's what I'm saying.
Thank you for being here today, Fred. Carol, I just can't help but think of it shifts from one area, it just becomes somebody else's problem.
I'm a mother of 3 and I'm concerned for my children and I'm concerned for our community. And we are all, as human beings, care about the homeless.
Right.
We do, and so we need to find a solution and an area and a place that will actually help these people. Putting them next to a seniors complexes and children and high schools is not going to help them. It's not going to help anybody.
They'd argue that's happened in Victoria and there hasn't been any big incidences
but when
because of that.
When you really look into where they talk about the Belmore downtown, there has been a problem in the city already. So they've helped that area to deal with this huge problem that they were having down there.
But you don't have a problem in your neighborhood now.
Well, it's not about we don't have a problem in the neighborhood.
Right.
And it's not about turning the blind eye. If they truly want to help people who are struggling with drugs and alcohol, they need to go, we're asking to put a freeze on this so that we can go to a public hearing and so that we can talk about this.
Okay.
Because putting this is irresponsible on the Uplands area and any area where there's children involved.
I'm getting the RAP single care Carol. Thank you so much. The time always flies. I know it will. And they're already saying, look, she's going long again. So if you'd like more information on what the Nanaimo concerned citizens of Nanaimo are doing, they have a website as well, what'swrongwiththispicture.ca. We're going to take a short break. We're going to catch our breath, and we'll be back because PacificCARE has reason to celebrate.
Hi, I'm Steve Graham, inviting you to watch Miller's Pub Game On, only on Shaw TV.
It's about local athletes and local teams, and it's a lot more than just the score. Game On focuses on the unique personalities in our sports community. From football to table tennis, from basketball to curling, we cover Vancouver Island like no one else. Game On goes beyond the headline to the heart of the athlete. Miller's Pub Game On, only on Shaw TV.
You guys, it's now time for the results of the Homecoming Queen election. Your Homecoming Queen is Becca Warniger. True beauty. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
It's nighttime in a kitchen just like yours. All is quiet. Or is it? The North American house hippo is found throughout Canada and the eastern United States. House hippos are very timid creatures and are rarely seen, but they will defend their territory if provoked. They come out at night to search for food, water, and materials for their nests. The favorite foods of the house hippo are chips, raisins, and the crumbs from peanut butter on toast. They build their nests in bedroom closets, using lost mittens, dryer lint, and bits of string. The nests have to be very soft and warm. House hippos sleep about 16 hours a day.
That looked really real, but you knew it couldn't be true, didn't you? That's why it's good to think about what you're watching on TV and ask questions, kind of like you just did. A message from Concerned Children's Advertisers.
And now, back to the show, only on Shaw TV.
Live, you're watching the show on Shaw TV Channel 4, and things are crazy in the studio. We're adding music. Ryan, thank you so much. We're taking music away, but we're here, and I think we're supposed to be where we are supposed to be, which is with Pacific Child and Family Enrichment Society, otherwise known as PacificCARE. Now, they have a mission to develop programs in the community to foster relationships and partnerships to provide services, a range of services, to individuals of all cultures. Diane Mager is the executive director. Margaret Sinclair is the program coordinator there. Thank you, ladies, for coming.
Thank you for having us.
What is it exactly? Well, I'm not even going to ask you what it is you do because I sort of know what you do. I had need to get childcare for my children when I came back to work, and I was terrified that there wouldn't be any spots available. I phoned you guys. Problem solved. It was wonderful. So thank you.
Well, I think we have a pretty nice team. We've been around for 22 years in the community, and I think it's good for us to mention that we are a regional program.
Right.
We provide services from Ladysmith, Nanaimo, Parksville, Qualicum, Campbell River, Courtney. We do outreach to Powell River, Port Hardy. We serve Port Alberni and the west coast of Vancouver Island.
I'm gonna bring Margaret in now, and when you say we serve these regions, what does that service look like?
Support. We provide resources and information, and we help the needs with the professional development.
Okay. Now it's
for
not
child care providers.
I think in my head I'm kind of going, well, how much information could you actually need to get daycare? Really,
Well,
but it's both sides of it too. If you're wanting to provide service for children, there's a lot of bureaucracy to go through, and you guys are here to help with that.
Yeah. Well, we help. Our main goal is to help registered, licensed not required child care providers in our service, because there are licensed and there are non-licensed child care providers in the whole province, and we help them with all the professional development needs and to make sure the home is safe and adequate for parents to take the children to.
So if somebody's wanting to start up a childcare service, they need to touch base with you first, right out of the gate.
They can come and see us, and our childcare consultants are very well educated, highly qualified professionals, and you can phone in and they can connect you with, they can suggest to parents suitable daycares for the parents. The parents make the decision, but every child is different. Every child needs a different environment, and so they can then decide where they'd like their child to go. And then also any of our care providers that are interested in opening up their own businesses at home as a license not required, we then can give them the training they require to become very professional and to make sure that those little people are getting a really, you know, they're spending their days in a really nice environment, that it's play-based, that it has all the criteria for young children. Very scary.
Over the care of their child. We're getting signals. I've probably got about a minute and a half left. It goes so quickly. Congratulations, you have been credited, and it's a bit Greek to me. My understanding that it's a version of a Better Business Bureau for nonprofits, and you guys have sailed straight to the top.
We sure did, and we're very excited. It took us 4 years. What it basically means for people listening is that we are a best practices organization, and what we say we do, and we have the evidence to show it. So we went through the process. It was a lot of work, but I have a wonderful team, and we all rallied together, got through it. And what it's going to mean now is that we will be really well equipped to go through it in 4 years. And I'm really excited that I'm going to be a peer reviewer myself, so I'll be able to help PacificCARE and the community as they go through it.
We've got
it's kind of a good thing.
Got about 30 seconds. Final word from either of you on what PacificCARE.
We actually also provide access to insurance, which is very key to the childcare providers for the liability aspect of it.
Absolutely.
And we use Coastal Community as the broker to go through because we can't provide insurance ourselves, of course, because we're not licensed.
Yes.
But we do give them access, and it's really key to them doing a good program.
Thank you both for being here today. I'm getting the frantic wrap. It's gone quickly, as it always does. And thank you for providing the service that you do. Oh, thank you.
That's what we
Thank you.
That's who we are.
Thank you. PacificCARE, they do have a website, www.care.bc.ca. I highly recommend them if you are a mom looking for somebody qualified to look after your dear little children. Wonderful. We're going to throw things over now to Brian Sugiyama because, well, for seniors, it's a matter of balance.
Thanks, Kate. And I'm just here with a representative of the University of Victoria's self-management programs. Her name is Vicki Swan, and we're talking about becoming a volunteer coach in the Matter of Balance program. Vicki, can you tell us about the nature of the program?
Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about Matter of Balance. It's a program that was developed in the United States, and now the University of Victoria is licensed to deliver it in BC, and so we're just starting to implement the program around the province. And where we work, the self-management programs are all volunteer driven. The programs are delivered by volunteers, and right now we're looking at putting together a training session in Nanaimo for people that would like to be volunteer coaches for the Matter of Balance program.
So if someone's interested in becoming a volunteer coach, what kind of time commitment is it for the program itself? How is it structured?
Well, we have 2 days of training for them, and those days are 6 hours long, and there is an hour break for lunch. And then after that, we ask that people commit to doing 2 sessions of training with participants, so doing participant workshops twice a year.
Well, that's wonderful. This training that's coming up, and it's impending within the next 2 months here, or next month or so. When and where and how do people get registered for it?
Okay, it's November 24th and 25th, and it's going to be at Origin at Longwood. And the way they can register is they can email us for more information or to say they'd like to be registered, or they can phone us. So we have a 1-800 number, which is 1-866 902-3767, or they can email selfmanagement@eastlink.ca.
And let me just understand the structure of it, is that once people become coaches, you're looking to have them deliver this program as volunteer coaches throughout this community and surrounding communities on the Mid-Island?
Yes. That's what the expectation is, and we're already starting to look at setting up workshops for participants, and those workshops are actually for people who have concerns about falling. Often they've had a fall already. The reason there's a focus on this is that when people have fallen, they tend to restrict their activities, and then they're more at risk of falling in the future.
So you want them to get up and be active safely and do things that will help their whole balance situation.
Yeah, so the program's being developed to teach people that the fear of falling is controllable and falls are manageable. We introduce them to an exercise program that will help them build their strength and balance, which is critical to falls prevention. And we also help them find ways to adapt their environment so they lessen their falls risk.
That's great. Now, I understand this is part of a much bigger program in self-management, and you have a number of different areas that you provide this training in and have programs.
Yes, well, our self-management programs have been running for about 11 years now. We've actually had over 116,000 people in BC alone take these programs, and we've also trained volunteers to deliver these programs to the tune of over 3,000. We have something called chronic condition self-management programs, and so anybody that has a chronic condition such as Parkinson's, asthma, say have had a stroke, can take one of these programs and learn to better manage the symptoms of their chronic condition.
So there's a number of areas. They can check your website and email you.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to you, Vicki, for coming out, and I'll turn it back over to Tara for the next segment in our program.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Tara, and here with me again is Robin Tomlinson from Catwalk Fashions. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Tara.
Always nice having you here.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk about winter fashions, what's in, what's out. So tell us.
Winter's my favorite. You get to cozy up, you get to wear many layers, great, fantastic boots, long sweaters and tights, and this year there's capes. Capes are really in style this year, and tights are still good. I think every one of my girls has tights on today. The coats are fantastic. There's a lot of color in the coats. I mean, we have our classic black and gray as well, but there's some really beautiful colors in coats, and the ladies are loving that. So.
And scarves are still in, scarves and hats.
Yes, scarves and hats. I mean, they're always in style here. You need them. Yeah.
And what's not? What are some things we shouldn't be buying, shouldn't be wearing this fall or this winter?
Yoga pants.
Yes.
Please don't wear yoga pants. They're not real pants. They're made for exercising, and that's all.
For any season, not just for winter.
I actually seen women wear yoga pants with a suit jacket.
Oh, okay.
It's just no, please don't do that.
Very West Coast.
I know we all love our Uggs, but there are some fantastic boots out there this year. We've got some, really high ones and really classic, sleek-looking boots. We don't need to wear Uggs anymore. It's kind of a little pet peeve of mine, even though my 14-year-old daughter will not wear anything but. But that's just a couple things that.
Okay, sounds good. So let's bring the models out. So we're going to start off with Maya.
Maya. This is one of the coats that I was talking about. This beautiful blue is really in this year, and it really looks great on everybody. It's a pink martini swing coat. It's gorgeous. I only have 2 left, and I just got them in 2 days ago. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and underneath she's wearing a cute little Yumi. Well, it could be a dress if you're courageous. Most girls will probably wear that with tights. This is another of the big trends, is the little booties, and they are rimmed in white faux shearling. But
is that a Canadian designer for the dress, Yumi?
Yumi is actually Japanese.
Okay, that's what it sounded like, so I wasn't too sure. So you do carry Japanese designers as well?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Yeah, and the tights are foxy, and the boots are actually Papillon. Papillon's doing some shoes and boots. They're trying it out, and yeah.
Very nice. Thanks, Maya. Okay, next we have Ree.
Anybody who shops at my store might know Ree. Ree's been working with me for a long time. Another trend is the really long skirt this year. The difference about this one is that it's got a sexy little slit in the front.
And it's a cape as well, because you said capes are in.
And capes are in. I have this cape also in a camel color. So
nice.
You do have to wear obviously a long sleeve underneath. And Ree's looking pretty sexy in that, I must say.
She is.
Big earrings to go with it, and a nice big belt. And the shoes, you can't buy them at Catwalk, but they are a trend. I'm trying to bring them in. The big wedge like that, they're pretty spectacular.
And let's just bring Catherine. Thanks, Ree. You can just stay here, but we can also bring Catherine in as well.
And Catherine has another pink martini coat on. It's a bit of a military, double-breasted, very fitted, very classic style. And see, she also has tights with these sexy boots on. And we have a really great tuxedo jacket. There's another trend with the longer in the back, shorter in the front, and a great little papillon shirt.
Perfect. Thanks, Catherine. And we're just going to bring Rachel on too.
Rachel has another of that great blue color pink martini coat on, stand-up collar, ruffle.
Oh, I like that.
Also the tall, flat boots with the studding going on, and she has a great sweater dress by Smash with the turtleneck, and see the embroidery going on the back there. Actually, I mean, I shouldn't tell you that, but she's got it on backwards just because I like it, so it's a 2-for-1.
Well, there
you can switch it around.
Dresses in one, and sweater dresses. I can see that being, you know, a hit for winter time.
Yeah.
Well, again, running out of time. Always great to have you on, Robin.
Thanks, Tara.
I swear we should have you as a permanent fixture
on
this
show. Is that it? We're done already? Oh, thank you.
So thanks again, Robin, and we're going to go back to Kate.
Well, thank you very much, Tara. I am wandering around the studio here because I don't really know what camera I'm supposed to be on. I believe, Stas, that I'm supposed to be talking to you. So I'll talk to the camera in the sky or over on the corner over here. But that's it for our show. I'd like to thank you, Ryan, for all your time today. Thank you for our guests. Check us out on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter or visit our website, Shaw TV Nanaimo. Thanks for watching. I'm Kate Bergen. Thanks, Ryan. Take it away. It's a big rush, and we're live, and we're almost done, and the credits are going to roll now.
It's 12 o'clock somewhere, I'm as thirsty as hell. Here's a bottle, and you've been dodging those calls and jumping the subject every hour. I'm just made like this, honey, this is my range, you can't change it. Don't hold your breath instead, jump right